VGM Lounge. It's me, Derek Jones, and I'm here with two people this time. Why don't you introduce
Ahoy!
yourself?
Ahoy, Derek! I'm coming in from the seas!
Well, who is that on the seas?
It's me, your co-host, Matt.
And
Captain Matt.
Captain Matt. I'm joined here with my first mate. Introduce yourself, first mate.
Hello, I am Michael.
Yes, it's Michael. He thought he'd join us on these high seas today.
Rub the poop deck.
We've got the everyone's lovely favorite Dire Dire Docks theme from Super Mario 64. This is probably one of the most well-known video game music out there, I would say.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I mean, 9 times out of 10, like, if someone thinks of Super Mario 64, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember the Dire Dire Docks. Or throwing a penguin off a cliff.
I mean, I've heard this song in like other people's game compilations. I've heard this song like in videos that weren't related to video games at all the time. It's a pretty common, well-used track.
It's fairly iconic, yes.
It's definitely an iconic track. And we lowered it down, but I want to pick it back up. I love this pickup right here, where those like little drums come in.
Like the steel drums?
Oh yeah. And then the percussion picks up more and more as the song goes on. Composed by Koji Kondo, by the way. Composer for almost all Mario games. This is one of everyone's favorites, I think.
Definitely a great way to start off the episode, if I do say so myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're coming into the docks.
Yes, all of the music on this episode will be featuring water in some way, shape, or form. Kind of going off our last episode that was all about travel, we had some boat and air travel themes. This one is basically going to be water. Water levels, boats still work, under the sea, basically water adjacent. That's what we're thinking.
So if you have your wits about
Water adjacent.
you'll avoid it at all cost.
Water levels in games are usually terrible, but I mean they're also peaceful. Matt, how would you describe the sound of a water level?
Fluid.
That's fair. Water level, it sounds different basically depending on the depth. If you're on the top of the water, you're near the beach, you're near the islands, you're gonna have a happy-go-lucky island sound. But if you're far down below the depths, it can sound soul-crushing and kind of sad and depressing often.
Sometimes, on the other hand, you have games where, like, you dive down and, it could be fun and exciting, like, exploring a reef.
Absolutely. So, Matt, you're going to be leading us off this episode. Why don't you give us our first example?
Alright, I'll give us our first example. And you know what? I'm actually going to stick with Koji Kondo on this one.
Alright, I love him, and I think everyone who's heard some video game music has heard some Mario tunes and some Koji Kondo tracks.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's true. So the one I picked is the Lakebed Temple from the Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess.
Nice.
It's a good one. Twilight Princess has a very different sounding track compared to many other Zelda games. It's a lot darker in tone.
It is, which is why I really enjoy it.
All right, so Lakebed Temple. Let's go down to the seafloor.
It's a lake floor, the lake bed.
Get it right.
Yeah, it is a lake. Yeah.
You can have a water level and not know your bodies of water. Do your research.
It's my bad, folks.
Skimming the ponds.
Doesn't even know what a tributary
It's
is.
not a pond, Matt. It's a lake. There's differences.
Hey man, get it
I'm
straight.
talking about you.
Yeah.
I'll see myself out.
So this is the Lakebed Temple theme from the Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess.
That's a spooky track, Matt.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're down on the bottom of the lake. Anything could happen. I mean, typically, like, whenever you think about, like, lake beds compared to, like, the seafloor, I mean, the seafloor it gets darker, and, obviously, there's more pressure and stuff. So, I mean, there's, like, that kind of fear to you. But when it comes to, like, a lake bed or, even like a river, the creepier part about that is typically the lower you go, typically the murkier it gets, rather than being just dark. It's like you can see in front of you, but like literally like maybe just an inch or so, and then like all of it's just cloudiness. So you're just like, what is going to come at me at that point? Because like at that point you're like aware.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean by that. Murky was a really good word because whenever you think of like a lake, especially when you're at like the bottom of the lake, you think of like it's swampy, it's covered with foliage a lot more than like the ocean or the sea would have. Usually it's like overgrown. You think of like kind of a swamp almost.
And personally, whenever I think of water levels, I usually think of some sort of tranquility, wind blowing, just relaxing. But specifically, Zelda in general uses music to set the tone of the games very well, and they've always given their water temples and such more of a dark tone, and that's something I really like about water themes, is they can be either side of the coin. They can be ominous, mysterious, and really help build the tension of wherever you're going through, or it can be the beach cutscene that's in every RPG,
Yeah,
because it's obligatory, and it's just people playing bongos or whatever.
we might get some of those tracks a little later, but that's one thing that I've always been fascinated with the water. I mean, consider our planet. No one knows what's at the bottom of the ocean, and video games do very much the same. You never know what you're going to find on, the lake bed.
Yeah, you could find, I don't know, some weird translucent ghost fish, and when you try to bring it up to the surface, it just melts because it can't handle the knot pressure.
Yeah, I mean...
Or you could find a mermaid who just wants you to sing along in a concert. Either way.
No.
That's... But speaking of what the music does, I really like when it comes in with those, like, it's just random hollow tones, and I like the second half of the song a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really good at playing the silence, and then it just throws in those, like, creepy noises that kind of, like, tingles the back of your neck.
Yep.
It was a good one.
And that was the cool thing about Twilight Princess when it came out, is that it was already a darker take on the Zelda series in general. So this being already a dark game with this used to set that sort of almost horror theme to it is really just a love letter to water songs in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. I am going to kind of stay with the creepy tone. Now, everyone knows Aquatic Ambiance from Donkey Kong Country 1. I think that's a song pretty much everyone expects to be in this episode. But I'm actually going to play the water music from Donkey Kong Country 3. Are you familiar with that one, Matt?
No, I'm not.
So, whereas DKC 1, Aquatic Ambiance, is kind of like almost a beautiful sounding ocean, 3's take on it, Water World, is kind of like a scary version of the ocean, and you'll see exactly what I mean. This is played in a lot of levels that are honestly really frightening. One in particular comes to mind in this game where you are traveling with an anglerfish, and you have to keep making sure he's fed or he'll basically attack you. And it's very scary. But I think you'll really like this one. It goes right along with how Twilight Princess is frightening. This is composed by Eveline Fisher, and this is Waterworld from Donkey Kong Country 3.
I could feel the pressure in that one because, again, like you said, you got to make sure that anglerfish is kept up with, or else it's game over.
Oh yeah, and Michael, you made a chomping noise, the exact noise the fish makes as soon as we started, so you clearly remember this level, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing what a soundtrack can do to elicit certain responses, some voluntary, some involuntary. Like, whenever you remember specific theme songs and it reminds you of a distinct enemy, like one you can't kill,
Yeah,
like the Super Mario, like the Super Mario World 3, or
Boss Bass?
no, I'm talking about the sun.
Oh yeah, that.
You can't kill the sun. That desert level will always stick with you because it's almost feels like a race against the clock because you're racing this force of nature that's actively trying to kill you, that you can do nothing against except run away.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, and like I was saying, this level, I mean, granted, this song plays in a few levels, but the one that always reminds me is the anglerfish level. And it's basically like an escort quest, but it's terrible because you need to use his light to let you see through the map because it's pitch dark and you only have this tiny little cone light in front of you. And he basically starts getting hungry, and like the hungrier he gets, you either need to get him like food or he'll just eat one of your party members. And
he'll charge in a straight line and chomp your booty.
Yeah, like this level's actually scary.
Chomp them cheeks.
And I really like this way the song is composed. Evelyn Fisher did a great job, like, because you can feel like the pressure and the fear behind it.
That, but still, like the flutter of some of those notes is still light enough that it definitely conveys the aquatic theme.
Yeah, I like the little flutter notes that kind of make you feel like you're underwater. Really interestingly done.
For sure. That was a great pick, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I mean, a lot of people talk about Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, but I don't think a lot of people appreciate 3's soundtrack.
Played by technical difficulties.
Yeah, I apologize, everyone.
Sounds like there's going to be trouble on these waters.
Yeah, we're on troubled waters. I've got everyone this episode. I do apologize.
Some choppy waters.
It's a dark and stormy night here on the open ocean.
Here on Deadliest
World.
Catch music.
This is the Deadliest Catch. Why don't we let Michael play a song?
That sounds like a grand idea.
Okay. So,
what you thinking about then?
Alright, so I was just pitched to come on here a few hours ago.
It's a short notice.
So, fairly short notice, and I had to run through a list that both of you had already thought of. So I was trying to pick things that neither of you would pick, even though the three of us all have sort of a similar background when it comes to video games. We played a lot of the same stuff.
Yep.
So, the first one I'm going to play for you comes from a not very well-known Super Nintendo title called Sky Blazer, which is a very brutal action platformer game that takes place over the course of many levels. There's no saves. It has a old school password system.
Gotta love them.
The art for the game is beautiful. The level design is really cool, but it's just intrinsically a very difficult game. There's several points where you have to go off a lot of blind jumps, a lot of platforms that move around an area that you can't see, so you're doing a blind jump onto a platform you can't see.
Who doesn't love blind jumps?
Exactly.
No one loves blind jumps. Game developers, stop with blind jumps. They're bad.
Well, most notably, one of the worst blind jumps in the game is the second level is a mode 36 tower? Mode 7 tower that's constantly turning with you, and then there's also shit moving around in the background and stuff moving around in the foreground, and you have to blind jump off the side of a tower to make it up to the boss. That being said, the second boss of the game, which is very difficult to get to because the first levels are already ruthless, is a water temple, as it would be. And so the track I'm going to play for you is Lair of, and I apologize because I will not pronounce this right, Carrion? Lair of Carrion from Sky Blazer on the SNES by Harumi Fujita.
Let's hear it. I'm excited because I've never played this game.
I would recommend it.
Sounds like you wouldn't.
No, I would. It's a fun game. It's just hard. There's nothing wrong with a good, hard game.
It's true.
It just requires you to not be bad.
That was an interesting one. It was very high energy. I would have anxiety while this song was playing. That's for certain.
It definitely sets the tone for the game because it's a very high speed or a very high paced game.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to stop and hang out. Almost every money or health up or power up is on a very short timer whenever it's dropped by an enemy. So you have to move quickly, and then all the enemies and bosses and projectiles also move fairly quickly.
Fun.
So, and then there's also the notorious auto scroll levels.
Yeah, well,
those aren't slow either.
Touch the walls, you die.
It's not that, but it's very easy to get pinched.
I bet.
Pinch deaths.
Matt, what were you thinking of that?
Oh man, I was actually really enjoying it. I actually liked some of the low notes where it was like dome dome.
Yeah, I mean, the main rhythm obviously was the part that was just going ham, but I liked what was behind there. How there's like those like long held notes that's kind of carried the water feel to it.
Almost like a Jawsy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And something I didn't mention before we started playing this track is this game was also made by Sony ImageSoft before the PlayStation 1 came out, and they split from Nintendo.
Yeah.
So it's actually really neat to see that Sony and Nintendo worked on this game that no one's ever heard of. In fact, I didn't even remember that I owned this game until I think I was watching an episode of James Rolfe and Mike Mate a couple weeks ago, and they were trying to play this game, and they never got past the first level.
It must be quite hard.
Well, they're also not the best at video games. But it's still neat. And if you've never heard of Skyblazer, all one word, you should check it out. It's pretty neat.
I will say, whenever I find and match up one of them pocket Super Nintendos, I'm definitely gonna have to try and find this game.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one I'm looking into playing.
I've got it for you if you need it.
I want to say this box art is really intense. We have this guy who is completely golden, and he's like...
He's got phoenix wings.
He's got phoenix wings. He's like shooting an energy blast with these three dudes who are like robed.
I'm pretty sure he's made of the energy.
Yeah, he's intense. And
I'll say there's three dudes who are all the same dude, who are also all wearing like 90s supervillain sunglasses, and they have their little Wario mustaches, and they look like the Claw from Inspector Gadget, the animated series.
And they have claw
all
arms.
at the same time.
Yeah, it's three of them. They've got this like definitely cultist evil emperor robe going on.
Yeah, you got the pinchy hands.
They do indeed have pinchy hands.
But yeah, I like the part that really got me is those long held notes in the background. The doo-doo. Like those really make me feel like the water.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everything else is just high energy, high intensity. But I think if you like just focus on those background notes, it's still it's got that underwater feel, and the speed makes it just so anxious.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna stick with another classic from the Super Nintendo. And it's also actually sticking a little bit with the creepiness or the horror of the depth, because I mean that's actually very common. Like one of the top common fears is of water,
Yeah,
or at least of like what could be in the water.
I think that's I think that might actually be one of the largest phobias, like the most common.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fear that dates back to, you know, God, like when man probably was first walking, because we didn't know what was in the water. All we knew is that like, hey, we should live near the water because that's good for us. And then, you know, that's when you have, you know, the stories of like, you know, sea monsters come up and, you know, oh God, it's a dragon, or
It's the Loch Ness.
just a crocodile that just like, you know, drags someone underwater.
So what is what's that vein you're going through, Matt?
Well, the game I picked is Super Metroid, and the song I picked is Meridia.
Yep, this is definitely one me and Michael were both thinking for our lists.
Yep, but I figured he would get it first. But you beat us both to it.
I beat you both. Haha! Brought to us by the composer Minako Hamano, we have Meridia, Drifting Sand Underwater, from Super Metroid.
You talked about songs evoking memories, said Michael. That is one that absolutely does it for me every time. I have a lot of memories of being trapped in Meridia when I was a kid. Now I've played through Metroid so many times that now I can navigate it. But when I was younger, I used to get so lost in this place, like helplessly lost.
And I feel like that's a theme that goes on very well with many water levels, is they're usually so large and vast. At a certain point, you're probably going to get lost and just go, where am I and where am I going?
Yeah, we talked about that in our Dungeons episode when we played the Water Temple. The water levels in games, when they have this feeling to them, they kind of just give you that, where am I going? Where have I been? Where do I need to go next? This place is scary. I don't want to be here anymore. And Meridia is definitely that feeling, especially with the music. Like, you can hear it's just like, you feel trapped. The music makes you feel like so unsure of yourself.
Yeah, because I mean, you definitely get lost in here. Like, if it's your first time playing this game, you're never gonna know what to do, especially when you get to that area where like you fall through the sand, and you're like, oh god, where am I now?
Yeah, and it takes you to a whole other part of the map. And the worst part of this area in Meridia is even once you have the map, it doesn't help you at all. Like, the map to this place doesn't make sense, and the way you have to go is all through hidden passages, so they're not even on the map.
Yeah, a lot of them's hidden.
But I will say, I love the way Minako Hamano composed this, because it's such a good job of just, like, making you feel unease.
And I think part of what makes this song in particular so great is there's, at least for long sections of the song, there's only very few notes that are played in repetition. They're very drawn out, and then it's the da-da-da-da-da,
yeah, it plays the silence.
Mm-hmm. It really plays to that you don't know where you are, and you're not going to.
Yeah,
but you want to get out as fast as you can.
And then the second half comes in once you're already lost, and like it starts raising your heart rate. It's composed in a way that, like, the first part makes you feel lost, the second part makes you feel anxious. It just takes you, like, on a journey of, okay, where am I? And then that, like, da-da-da-da-da-da, you're like, stop. It's, like, composed to raise your heart rate. Mm-hmm. Specifically, just to raise your heart rate. But I think it's a really good one. And Matt, that actually brings me right to what I'm going to play. I wanted to bring it happy, but, you know, I have such a good follow-up. I'm going to play my own song from the Metroid franchise.
Oh.
I went with kind of a more lighthearted one. I'm going to play the song Frigate Orphean from Metroid Prime.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, this is composed by Kenji Yamamoto, and I really like this section in Metroid Prime because it's basically a huge crashed ship, but it's completely submerged in water. And at this point, you don't have the ability to maneuver through the water very well. And you're basically just going down this really long, what would be, it's a crashed spaceship, but you go inside of it, and it's neat because it's, like, starting to be overgrown with, like, algae and water creatures, and they're swimming through this. And you end up going through this really long, like, elevator shaft I distinctly remember. And it's just, it's really interesting the way the song is composed. It's like Meridia, but it's more lighthearted.
Which I think we could all use a break from Meridia.
As we've had a lot of raising your nerves songs, so let's just kind of get a calm, gentle one. So this is Metroid Prime, the Frigate Orphean by Kenji Yamamoto.
Yeah, that was definitely a more pleasant sounding piece compared to what we've been playing so far.
Yeah, it was a lot more lighthearted, a little bit more up tempo. The beats were spaced closer together as opposed to the long drawn out beats that we just saw on Meridia, which is a really nice contrast. Very good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of like that lost feeling, but it's not like a scared lost feeling. It's like you kind of want to explore this place rather than like, I want to get out of this place.
Yeah, there's not that. The music doesn't convey that looming sense of dread that the Meridia theme did.
This one's kind of just like, oh, this is nice. What's going to be through this door? Where am I going to go next? Kind of just, it's peaceful, whereas Meridia was not at all peaceful.
No.
And this place is really pretty. Personally, I think this part of the game is just a really, really nice looking set piece.
Absolutely.
I will admit it's been a while since I played the Metroid Prime trilogy, and I think this is definitely making me want to go back to it.
It's weird because I remember them saying that they were going to re-release the Metroid Prime trilogy for the Switch, and I was looking it up last week, and they have no updates, but it is still a thing.
Yeah, it's still like
So everything about all the Metroid Primes is just kind of like falling off the face of the earth.
Exactly.
Come on, Nintendo, just release more Metroid. That's what I want.
Which, to be fair, they did give us a new Metroid game like a year or two ago on the 3DS, but
Yeah, that was actually really good.
Oh, the remake of Samus Returns, yeah.
I was like honestly amazed by how good it was. I was a little scared because they hadn't gone through the 2D platformer Metroid in a while, and I was like, I hope they don't mess it up, but they did an amazing job on it, honestly. And I'm hoping.
Oh, definitely.
I'm hoping Prime 4 is everything that I want it to be.
Prime 4.
We can only hope.
We're all looking forward to that, I think.
Such a pretty song.
Well, Michael, why don't you give us one more of your picks?
One more of my picks, you say? Well, let's see how I would follow that up. You wanted to go kind of lighthearted.
I think we'd do that after all we've been hearing so far.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times when I'm around water, I want to play around. You know, you want to splash your friends. There's so many games that have come out of like being focused in water, like water polo,
water
volleyball, keep away, everything, Marco Polo, you name it. So this next pick, you can't think about water and sports without thinking about, and that's the track to Blitzball from Final Fantasy X.
Hey, there's a lot of Blitzball haters out there. I'm not one of them. I love me some Blitzball.
Blitzball's a fantastic game.
Now, Michael, what is Blitzball?
If you've never played Final Fantasy X, like I hadn't up until like 2 years ago, Blitzball is water soccer that you play in a giant magical sphere that's suspended in the middle of this giant arena with two opposing teams that make up of various different positions. And it's really just a lot of fun. Until you sit down and play it yourself, you might not understand, but that's at some points of the game, Blitzball is more fun to play than the actual story to Final Fantasy X, just because you can do that for hours.
Oh yeah.
It's so much fun.
Well, and also if you want to get the best weapon for one of your characters, you got to play a lot of Blitzball.
That's true. And you also get attack reels, which, I mean,
yeah,
that's worth Blitzball alone.
And honestly, just in terms of a minigame being in a game, I think Blitzball might be one of the better minigames in a game. It's definitely one of the best ones in Final Fantasy.
I love Blitzball, honestly speaking. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of haters out there, but I don't think any one of us three are. I'm sure there are among our listeners, in which case, sorry to relive your past trauma. Here's some Blitzball.
Here's Blitzball.
Alright, so this next track is the Blitzball theme from Final Fantasy X, composed by the legendary Nobuo Uematsu.
Our apology, Blitzoff is actually composed by Masashi Hamauzu.
I'm fairly pumped after listening to that. I want to go home and play some Blitzball. I don't know about you guys.
Better watch out for the Luca goers.
I don't know about the Luca goers. The goalie for the Abed Sykes is no joke.
Oh yeah, the Abed Sykes is by far the hardest team in this game. You're never gonna get past that goalie.
I was like, the goalie's the whole reason that team is hard.
The team is so hard because of that goalie.
And the other teams,
the goalie's on point. Everyone else just has to like wear you down.
And the other teams might as well not matter too much.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get too much trouble out of the Ronda.
Saranzo, yeah.
Yeah, the Ronsos.
The Ronso fact are not a hard team to lose. Beat it.
Like we're just gonna tackle.
But the thing about Blitzball is it's so important to this game because the main character, before he got basically what happened, because we try not to spoil the story here, but his whole thing is.
I wouldn't say it's a spoiler. The game is like almost 20 years old, and it happens within the first 15 minutes of the game.
No, but like his whole thing is, he's a Blitzball star. He's not like some knight. He's not, a warrior. He's just a really good Blitzball player. And X amount of time later through the game, he gets to play Blitzball again. And it's a whole team micromanaging thing. Like your characters, you can recruit other members. You can get special abilities, special shots, passes, tackles. Your characters level up. It's like a whole system. It's like almost a game in itself.
And another thing that's cool about it is not only is the main character also a Blitzball player and star, his father is also one of the best Blitzball players that's ever lived. And as you progress through the game, you start to pick, like, as you recover, like, through cutscenes and whatnot, you start to learn some of your dad's techniques that he taught you when you were a kid, but you sucked too much to actually do correctly.
Yeah. And,
yeah, those sequences were very annoying to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're sitting there playing and like say it's like your second time through and you're like, well, let me go ahead and save because I'm gonna do it this time.
Now speaking more to the actual music itself, I really love this theme. It's like it gets you pumped. I like how it has like it takes you. It's got a lot of like different steps it goes through. It's not just an A and a B side. It's got like 12 segments and they're all pretty different.
It does a very good job of getting you pumped for the game you're about to play, for the sport you're about to do, but it definitely does so in a way that it doesn't overshadow the actual gameplay, which I think is really cool.
It's really interesting because like I can hear the water, but I can definitely hear the sports like in the song. Like if you wouldn't tell me this was like water soccer, I would think like this is like an awesome tune to some soccer game.
Okay.
Because I can totally hear it.
I swear I'm gonna lose my mind if at like the World Cup, like just like we come out playing this song.
That would be amazing. Like I could hear this at like a really intense, like not the main coverage of the World Cup, but like a secondary or tertiary coverage, like the song's playing.
Like even if this is the song that they cut to commercials on, some people are gonna lose their minds more so than they normally do at the World Cup. Because
I love how that song sounds like a sports match.
Because they're catering to a very niche audience of football fans.
Hey, just wait for the Olympics this year.
Blitzball's gonna be in it. Let's go, Japan.
I would stop everything if Blitzball is a real thing. That's what I'm doing now. Blitzball.
It's like, well, I finally found the sport that I will actually follow.
I found my calling. I'm a blitzer.
Get blitzed.
Oh, thank you for that one, Michael. But
you think after the game, the coach tells him to hit the showers?
Like I know you're just under. By the way, I forgot to mention they breathe underwater for like 5 minutes. I don't know how. It's just a fun. It's like a spirit thing.
And I mean, to be fair, he probably does because I would imagine it has some sort of cleaner in the water. Like even Olympic swimmers shower off after they swim.
That's true.
Sure.
It's magic water. You don't know what's in there.
I don't. It could be self-cleaning water.
Matt, where are you? What sort of body of water are we going to next?
Let's see. All right. So we've gone under the water. We've gone into temples, and we've thrown and kicked a ball around in a sphere of water. So now I think we're gonna take it a little easy. And we're gonna go on a little river ride.
A little river ride, you say?
Yeah, we're gonna go down the river. You ready to go on a little safari?
We're gonna
Ah,
we're gonna
no,
enjoy the musical stylings of 88 Fingers Edward.
no, I know exactly what's playing. You said a river safari, Matt. What are we talking about?
Well, Derek, I'm gonna tell you, you better make sure your Kodiak is at the ready because we're going to Pokemon Snap,
I read
the River
novels.
Safari.
See, I was looking for Pokemon water themes too, because I thought Wallace would have his own special theme. I thought the Lake of Rage or the Whirl Islands would have their own special themes.
Technically,
No.
the Lake of Rage does. I mean, well, Lake of Rage shares a theme with other things.
Yeah,
Uh,
the two routes that
each game
surround
has
it.
their own. Yeah, each game has like their own surfing theme. Technically, I could have also played the Dragon Den.
I was thinking Dragon Den, but it
I
didn't
was
sound watery enough.
I was also thinking the diving theme from Ruby Sapphire and Emerald.
Yep.
There's
That's a
that
good
one. I also thought about the diving, the underground tunnel like maze thing that's in Black 2, White 2.
That would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Matt, I'm actually very happy you picked a song from Pokemon Snap. That's definitely a game I don't think people were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, here we are. I mean, they always expect me to bust out the Pokemon track, but they never know which game I'm gonna go for.
It's true. You have a hefty burden placed upon you. You're doing the Lord's
It's
work.
true. I am. I gotta listen to them all.
Got to give the fans what they want, and what they want is Pokemon Snap.
I want
It
pictures
is.
of Pokemon.
Get ready because we're gonna have Pokemon Snap 2 on the Switch.
I don't know if they were saying that about Pokemon Snap 2 on the 3DS and
Yeah,
the
no,
3DS
no.
XL and the Wii U.
All right, Matt.
All right, so here we go with River Safari from Pokemon Snap by Ikuko Mimori.
I thought it was neat. It was, I don't know. Pokemon Snap is so far removed from the cultural zeitgeist, especially a lot of newer Pokemon fans who maybe didn't have a Nintendo 64 when they were children.
Yeah, I mean, I bet there's a lot of kids now who
Don't even know what this is.
or wouldn't even believe you if you told them, yeah, there's this Pokemon game. You just ride in a cart and take pictures of Pokemon. They're like,
That sounds
they'd be
dumb.
like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can throw apples at them, or like throw these little like exploding gas balls at them to like annoy them to try to get them to evolve.
I was gonna say you had to do all those special little side quests to do things in such a right order, like get the Magikarp to jump up the waterfall to see Gyarados, or
get the Magnemites to fuse together, or send the Pikachu to where he needs to be to turn on the power plant to open up the door. Pokemon sounds actually really interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Or the part where you're going through the cave and you look over to your right and you're like, oh, look at all them Bulbasaur. Wait a minute, that Bulbasaur has dot eyes. It's a Ditto. Get him.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is a non-mainstream Pokemon game done incredibly well that I don't think anybody was expecting to be as good as it actually was.
Like, I remembered I found a way to play it, I want to say like maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, I forgot how much like this game just has going on.
Yeah, there's a ton to do.
It does.
And by the way, song...
and in this river ride is where you you can go through the whole level, and you're like, okay, cool, and then like when you're thinking you're going to move on to the next level, it's just like, nope, you didn't make it to the next level, and you're like, what do you mean? And then you find out as you're going down the river if there's like a fork in the river, and if you don't see this fork and like do something to activate you to go down that different path, you don't go to the cave.
Yeah. And by the way, this song, I love that rain stick in there. The shh right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like the music completely stops. Like, oh, dude, it's your turn. Oh.
It definitely throws that theme of water right in your face.
And Safari too.
Mm-hmm.
I love the and it's got those little bongos, little.
Meanwhile, you're sitting there in your ride pod, and you're just like, oh man, there's a weeping bell.
I love like the tribal sound of the song, how like the drums like pick up and the rain sticks back there.
It sounds very
very
rainforesty.
Yeah,
yeah.
Very rainforest safari. The composer did a really good job of capturing the feeling of this.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I'd love to be able to play the game again, but I know now the only way I'd be able to do it is, I guess, not legally.
not overly legally, because I don't think you can really get a copy of this game anymore. And just remake it for the Switch. Come on.
Remember, kids, if you want to play Pokemon Snap and find out who Todd is,
Todd.
You need to write your local Nintendo representative and tell them to port Pokemon Snap.
Nintendo, what we're trying to say is we love you and the games you make. Remake everything we want. Just
like
remake Prime, remake Pokemon Snap. Just come on.
Remake Pokemon Coliseum, and not Battle Revolution. That was terrible.
Battle Revolution was terrible.
Battle Revolution was the 3D arena for you to just play the Diamond and Pearl games on.
It was. It honestly was, because I remember when Jed had the game, and I would play it at his house, and he'd be playing like his DS, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll fight somebody online. And then, so Jed's not paying attention at all, and it's just like the announcer on the game is just like, the trainer is having a hard time deciding what to do, and that would go on like maybe like a couple of times, and Jed would be just like, man, he must be having a hard time with his battle, and he looks up, and I'm just dead asleep.
The best one will always be, the Pokemon are completely different types.
That's Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, but Battle Revolution was more akin to Pokemon Stadium than it was to Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But
I actually have a fun way to follow that up, Matt. So you kind of played a river safari, kind of a jungle. I'm going to go for a game that I don't think anyone who doesn't listen to video game podcasts specifically has heard of.
What is that?
This is a song I've been holding for a while. It's one I've been wondering when I'm going to get to play this, and I finally am letting it loose. This is a song from the Smurfs for NES.
Say what now?
That was my response.
Yes, so I can't really speak much of this game because I myself am not super aware of it because, like you, Matt, I didn't go out and get a game for the NES that was the Smurfs. However, the music that is in this game is really, really well composed. It's composed by Alberto Jose Gonzalez, and I'm just going to let you listen to this. This is the Smurfs, The Swamp.
So that was a nice unexpected pick. I don't think anybody came into this podcast being like, you know what I want to hear? Some Smurfs on the NES.
But that song is so good.
Yeah, and it's a classic symptom of bad game, good music syndrome. Very akin to the Silver Surfer.
Yes, we've talked about that before. Matt, what were you thinking of that song?
Oh man, I mean, I don't think Smurfs.
Definitely don't think Smurfs. Like, I almost get sort of like a factory vibe from it. Very industrial sort of tones.
Yeah, this song is this game is like a, general NES platformer. And this level, as you're going through, it's basically, 2D side-scroller, you're hopping between lily pads and, dodging the monsters that are in the swamp. But I can't really speak of the game. I've just seen videos, before while I was doing research. And this is a song that when I heard it, I was like, this is absurdly good for this game. Like, again, Alberto Jose Gonzalez, he's not a composer I know very well, but I started researching him after I heard this, and he has some really good work, and we're definitely going to hear from him again, because if he can make the Smurfs game sound this good, just imagine when he can do some other games.
Are we going to hear from him again? Because the Smurfs on the NES, that's got to be over, almost 30 years old now.
I mean, we're going to hear from him again on the podcast.
Dish me on some related tracks.
But Matt, what do you think about the overall rhythms of this?
I mean, it's a total jam fest for me.
Right?
Yeah.
Once I heard this song, I was like, I gotta remember this. And obviously, you hear this once, and you're like, what is this from? The Smurfs on the NES? Yeah, I'm not gonna forget that.
Yeah, no. I will say, anytime I think of Smurfs, this song is going to be the first thing to come to mind now.
Oh yeah, and you can definitely believe that as soon as I heard this song, I'm like, I gotta download this. Like, this is now my jam. I'm rocking out to this song. I love this build up here. It's so intense. It's way too intense.
No, I think their hats look very grumpy.
Their hats do look grumpy.
But also, they all have the same face.
Well, they're the Smurfs, of course.
All blue people look alike.
Wow.
There, hot take. Let's do this. Unless you're Smurfette.
I mean, yeah. I know the chief looks different. He's got red pants and a red hat.
Just from not doing laundry.
Wow. Oh, jeez. Yeah, but
he's a red cap secretly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He soaks he kills people and then soaks his clothing into their blood.
The Smurf is real metal.
And just like the song, does not belong with the Smurfs.
I mean, hey. Jesus. Oh, he went hard. That's all I can say. The composer went hard on this song.
He did, because I mean,
True.
it's just like, okay, so it's a swamp area, right?
Like, yeah, I got an idea for this. I got a song in mind. I've been working on it. I wonder if the development team was like, yeah, okay, this works. This is good. I like it.
Sure, do that.
All right, so we're gonna go stomping up through the swamp as Smurfs. I guess it's gonna have to sound. I think it sounds like this.
Like, is Gargamel there? What's happening?
No, it's just. It's just it.
It's just a water level. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's normal water level. Well, okay.
All right, Matt. Where are you taking us next?
No, it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Hey, you go after me.
Oh. All right, well, for my last pick, since I didn't have very much time to prepare, we're going to go to a deserted island with one of my favorite RPGs, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Such a
great game.
It's an amazing game.
And the song I have for you is the song that plays while you're in the deserted island of Keelhole Key, which is an overgrown, deserted forest that you go through, and there's ghosts, there's forest boogies. It's the whole thing.
Oh yeah. And this is a really fun part of the game too, and the music is great here.
I honestly, Keelhole Key might be my favorite place to go to in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, just because the setting itself is wonderful. All the enemies are really cool. You get a lot of neat power-ups. The party member you get there is neat.
Yeah.
The only bad part about it is Flavio. Flavio's a toilet.
Well, let's hear the music for this deserted island. I'm excited for it.
Yes, this is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Doors Keelhole Key by Yuka Sugiyoko.
I was really enjoying the bongos on that song. The little tribal drums.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, this goes back to what we were saying earlier with the Metroid games, where the tone conveyed through the music is one that evokes that sense of exploration. Which with Paper Mario, there's only so much you can explore in each given area. There's not a whole lot of depth to it, but there's always a reason to go back and look at things a couple more times because you never know what you might have missed.
Yeah, they're kind of that 2.5D, not quite 3D environments where they are flat, like, and you go left to right, but they've got a little bit of depth. You can move back and forth and jump up some platforms and look behind. But this area is really, really neat, like you were talking about. I was having a lot of fun when I played this. And just, I thought the art style was really, really cool. How it was like that deserted island with the overgrown forest.
And the level design of the isle itself, at least for the first half of the island, it's you sort of navigating up this like mountainous, hilly terrain that has you like, the rooms are a lot bigger than they are in most of the other areas of the game, and they have platforming puzzles and stuff that you have to use all of your accrued party members to get through just to reach the other side of the room, and it has you going up these various different levels, which I always thought was really neat.
Mm-hmm. And then the second half, you're in like this like cave that's like filled with water, and it's got waterfalls, and it's like an abandoned ship like broken down in there.
Bunch of ghosts.
Yeah.
Spooky ghosts.
It's a really neat setting, and the music, I'm into this.
But yeah, Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door has always held a special place in my heart. It's one of the first RPGs I played, if not the first one I played, on the GameCube.
I mean, GameCube's not very well known for RPGs per se, but
No, but it has some good ones.
Well, yeah, the GameCube's got a lot of really good stuff.
oh yeah, totally. It's just
It's
I mean,
you just had to be lucky enough to actually have owned one or know someone and go hang out with them a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when most people kind of think of like, oh man, that great RPG, your probably first thought isn't, oh yeah, that one for the GameCube. But I mean, there's definitely some good ones, and Thousand Year Door, if you've never played it, check it out. It's amazing.
It's the last good Paper Mario game.
Well, I don't want to say that.
I do. I will die on that hill.
It was the last Paper Mario that was an RPG.
It was the last good Paper Mario. I personally was not a big fan of the Super Paper Mario on the Wii. I didn't like how they took away the variety of party members you accrued. Like in Thousand Year Door, you get a little baby Yoshi, you get a Koopa, you get two different ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, the other Super Paper Mario was more of, it wasn't an RPG. Is what I think what jilted me on that is it wasn't, because the first Paper Mario for the N64 was an RPG. Thousand Year Door is a great RPG. And then the next one was just like, it's a platform, and you're like, oh.
It's a platformer that still tried to be an RPG, and then the last couple ones have just thrown that out the window because the Mario RPG sort of timeline split off into the Mario and Luigi series with Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story.
Which are great games. Those are good.
That's because that's where the Super Mario RPG went.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I thank you for Keelhaul Key. I like that little island tone.
Thank you. I always enjoy it too.
Alright everyone, we had to cut this episode into two separate parts. We were having a lot of technical and audio issues on the first half, and we didn't want to continue the episode and have a not as good quality as we like to normally adhere to. So we are going to record this episode. This is a second half. It's a separate day. That being said, our guest Michael is no longer in studio, but we're very happy he joined us for the first half of the episode.
So I'm gonna keep us down in them dark depths for my next pick here, Derek.
Okay, Matt. I definitely have noticed a lot of our tracks have been kind of the dark, deep, scary part of water. I think you're gonna keep us in that vein, and I'm gonna take us to kind of the happier part of water.
Yeah, I'll come back to the surface here momentarily, but I had to get this one in here because whenever I think of the dark depths, there's one game that comes to mind for me, and it is BioShock.
That certainly makes sense. BioShock, basically the whole game is underwater.
Yeah, it's underwater. So the song that I picked actually is from the very beginning of the game, when you first set your sights on the city of Rapture. So the song is called "Welcome to Rapture." And it is by Gary Shyman.
Okay. I'm excited to hear this, because while I have played the BioShock games, I can't really... I only played them through once, and a lot of the game music that's in my memory is because I've played the game multiple times, so I can't really place what this sounds like, so I'm excited to rehear it.
Well, get ready as we venture down to the city of Rapture, and... because, that's going to be a nice visit.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to go to a place called Rapture?
Oh, God. So, here we go. This is Welcome to Rapture from BioShock by Gary Shyman.
I really enjoyed that. I really liked the violin work.
The violin work is definitely it carries the song through that, and I like it because like whenever you have like a violin, especially for like most of the music throughout this game, um, it really portrays like that feeling of like creepiness to it, but at the same time a little bit of like beauty because like when you first see the city, you're just like, whoa, this is amazing, and
Yeah.
then once you get there, that's when you start to see the horrible things that have gone awry.
Oh, definitely. I really like how the melody is kind of like frantic.
Oh yeah,
You, I mean, like as you said, I mean, it is like pretty at times, but then sometimes it just goes like all over the place, and it's got like, this like frantic rhythm to the violin, the crazy bowing.
yeah. Oh, I mean, think of like fish swimming. They're not just constantly going in a straight line. They're just all over the place. It'll look nice, and then all of a sudden they'll just be like whoa, and then
Yeah.
go back to look at the nice flowing motion.
And I love that big swell right there too. And it's like da na 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 na. It's like kind of spooky, kind of scary in there.
Oh yeah, it definitely fits very well. Gary Scheinman did a very good job in this composition of giving it that sense of shock and awe, and keeping you a little unease.
I think unease is a great way to describe like this song and this game in particular.
It's true.
One thing I like about this melody is like you have no way of like predicting where it's gonna go. Like right there, the da-na, na, na. Like I wasn't expecting that, and then suddenly it pops up, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah. There's
It's got a lot of like random swells and random instruments that pop in that kind of like surprise you, and you just don't know where the song is gonna take you next. But I really enjoyed that.
Well, you're quite welcome. I couldn't go through an episode about water without bringing up Bioshock.
Yeah, that was very good. Thank you. I think I am going to play one more song that's more ocean themed. It's This is from a very curious game that many people may have heard, but I don't think it's been played by too many people. I'm talking about e.v.o, The Search for Eden. This is a game where you start out as a fish with basically no powers. And it's really interesting because basically you have to eat to survive, as is the nature of this world. And as you defeat smaller creatures, you gain e.v.o points or evolution points, and you can evolve your fish and get stronger tail for swimming, better fins. You can get a horn like a swordfish. You can get better jaws to increase your biting strength. And it's really interesting, and there's a lot of different ways you can evolve your creature, and that's just the first chapter. And as you go through this game, you turn into a dinosaur and evolve differently, and then you turn into a mammal and you evolve differently, and it's a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, when did it come out on?
The Super Nintendo.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, God, again, it's another reason why I'm upset that I never owned a Super Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo had a lot of amazing games. A lot of hidden gems, too. I mean, of course, everyone knows Link to the Past, Final Fantasy 2 and 4, or 4 and 6, /2 and 3. Everyone's heard of Chrono Trigger, Mario RPG, Mario in general. But then there's a lot of really good hidden gems on there, like e.v.o.
Yeah, because that game sounds like it's something right up my alley.
Oh, it's very interesting. But the song I'm going to play for you is just titled Ocean. And it is composed by Koichi Sugiyama.
Oh, okay.
Which is a name I believe you're familiar with.
I am by this point.
So let's get into this magical changing world of e.v.o and play and take you down into the ocean.
Let's go. I liked that one. For me, that one definitely had like the had a sense of like kind of an adventure to it, like a full on exploration kind. Um,
Yeah.
and it definitely sounds like something Enix would do.
Yeah, absolutely. It is done by Enix. I really like the complexity of it, like how it's got when it has that dual audio thing where it's like bouncing back and forth between the two ears, and it's got
Mhm.
those. I like how it has like two halves to the song, but then they merge and they start playing at the same time.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool how it does that, and it's very complex. Like it's got a lot of different instruments playing at one time.
yeah, it does. I do like the dual like increases.
I love how it's got this. It's definitely got this like very intense air of mystery to it.
For me, like right there at the very beginning of it, just with the door, it reminded me of Metroid.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah,
I enjoy how this song makes me feel like I'm on the bottom of the ocean and I don't know what I'm gonna find. The full title is The Ocean of Origin.
yeah, very fitting for the title and point of the game.
Yeah, basically at this point in the game, it's like uh, everything is the water. There is no land. Mankind, or rather, just creature kind in general, has not evolved onto the land yet. So this is like the ocean
Yeah.
where everything started, essentially. And I like that, like as you mentioned, like adventurous almost. It's like adventurous,
Yeah.
but also like mysterious.
hmm
It's got a really interesting rhythm to it that I just really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, like I really want to find this game and play it. Just like one, so I can see what I'm doing while this music is playing.
I think this plays in the first level and most a few ocean levels. So at this point, you're kind of just learning the controls and exploring. But it's very interesting. Just the nature of this game. How you basically start out as a fish, then you evolve through like the world. Like after you finish the water, like volcanoes start erupting and there's land, and you as a fish like launch yourself onto the land, and then suddenly you evolve, and now you're like a two-legged creature that can walk on the land, and suddenly you're becoming a dinosaur, and then some more stuff happens, and eventually you're becoming like a full-on mammal. It's a very unique, very interesting game.
Yeah, it's got the elements. Obviously, well, I mean, um, this probably would have started it, but I did play Spore
Yeah,
for a little while.
it's kind of
and
like
I
Spore's
enjoyed that.
predecessor.
Yeah, I was 100% cool with Spore up until it got to the point where okay, your horrifying abomination now has a civilization and is building technology, and I don't want that.
Yeah, Spore goes through on a journey, that's for certain.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but on the same note, it also reminds me of another game that came out for the GameCube called Cubivore, where you started out as like a little tiny piggy, and you just ate more cube animals,
Yes, I
and
know exactly what you're talking about.
you would evolve and change how you look.
How you move too.
Oh yeah,
It's a very interesting game. But e.v.o is definitely one you should look into. I think it is a rather rare game, so you might have some difficulty in finding it. But there are certainly
no doubt.
ways to experience it.
There are ways.
There's always ways to experience older games. Just make sure you do so in a fashion that you are allowed to do. But Matt, I took you down to the ocean floor. Are you gonna keep us down there? Or are you gonna take us up to the surface?
It's a hard choice for me right now. I think I've got one more at the depths song I want to do. and then I'll start to bring us more out to the surface. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's not going to be like deep down like BioShock was, but it is under the water. You're swimming around kind of level.
Okay, much like the ocean in Evo.
Yeah. So from the composer Josh Mansell, who gave us the wonderful music to a game called Crash Bandicoot 3.
Indeed.
I chose the underwater theme.
My wife Willa will be very pleased with this. She was like, "Hey, you should play a song from Crash Bandicoot." So you did it for me. Thank you.
I do the things because I like Crash Bandicoot, even though it seems to be very hard.
It's an interesting series, that's for certain.
Uh, so anyway, this is the underwater theme from Crash Bandicoot 3 by Josh Mansell.
That was a fun little one, Matt.
Oh yeah, it's Crash Bandicoot's always been an amusing series, and that really comes through with this song with like the water jug slapping, the steel
the
drum.
boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom. You can just like hear that sound like reverb through it. Cool.
I really like the just the water noises in the background.
The water noise, like what sounds like someone just like lightly slapping water.
Yeah, a little. And I mean, it's very simple. This little part. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it, but I enjoy it. And then when it does get into the like main rhythm, like this part, the little gentle tones in here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little
You're like, oh no,
little maracas there now, that or tambourine rather.
that random little like xylophone build. It's like, oh no, there's the danger.
Yeah, you just had to jam a little bit on the xylophone. It's just every once in a while, and you're like, okay.
Boom.
A little
Boom.
cymbal clash in the background, really quiet. A lot of just random instruments thrown in here. I enjoy it.
And I mean, it's still, it fits. I mean, yeah, like the tropical like waters that you're diving in.
Yeah, and I like how the song both like has a lot going on with the random instruments it throws in there, and like not a lot going on at the same time. It's just a very simple.
Yeah, it's individually the sounds are just like a whoa, why, what, but like when they all come together, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see what you're going for now.
Yeah. And just a little like right there, that random xylophone trill like out of nowhere. You're like, oh, okay. And then just back to the boom, 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 boom. It's like, let's just maintain that for a while, and then we'll throw in some random instruments here and there.
It's like, all right, the water jug is our foundation for this entire song.
Here comes that
Jimmy,
tambourine
start
again.
slapping.
It's a fun little one. I'm glad you picked this.
Oh yeah, like when I was looking around, I was just like, I'm like, what's a good game that I could take from like a water level, and like, you know, immediately my mind's just like, oh, well, Mario has some water levels. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to pick Mario right now. Who else can I go for?
Let's go a little bit more obscure. Let's go Crash Bandicoot. I'm into it.
Crash Bandicoot 3.
I love it. I never actually played the third Crash Bandicoot, so I'm glad you're treating me with this little track I've never heard before.
Oh, you're welcome. I do what I can.
It'll be repeating in my head for a little while, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna go to bed tonight. You're gonna pull up the covers, and you're like, all right, it's time for sleep. Go. 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 And you're gonna wake up. You're like, "What's that sound?" And it's actually coming from your living room, and it's your cats slapping on their water jug.
I would lose my mind. That'd be the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Go.
Well, Matt, we spent a lot of time underwater during this water episode. I don't think we've given enough. I don't think we've given enough time for the top of the water.
It's true. We have not.
So I think not only we're gonna stay on, am I gonna take us to the top? I think I'm gonna have us cruise around on the top in a hovercraft rather.
A hover.
Yeah, you know, like one of those.
What nonsense is?
One of those big inflatable tubes, and you got like the little fan behind it, kind of shooting you forward.
Okay, like having the Everglades.
Yeah, kind of like that. There's a game that lets you cruise around in one of those. Specifically makes you in some of its racing levels.
Oh, and which game is that, dear?
Well, I've mentioned it before, and it's been a crowd favorite since we've started playing songs from it. I'm of course talking again about Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong.
Now there's a whole level dedicated to water areas, similar to how there was an Ice World, and I played you a song from one of the Ice World songs.
Yes.
There's a water level, water world rather, that has 4 different tracks. Any one of these was a good contender for this episode, but I ended up going with the Pirate Lagoon.
Pirate Lagoon.
And I think you'll enjoy this track. I know you enjoyed the Walrus Cove one I played, so I think you'll enjoy Pirate Lagoon.
Walrus Cove was pretty chill.
Well, this one's
No
pretty.
pun intended.
This one's gonna be pretty chill too. It's composed by David Wise, and you know how he does.
Pretty sure you meant to say this one's going to be pretty wet.
It's gonna be wet and wild. We're leaving the ice world, but still shiver your timbers from this Pirate Lagoon. Here we go. That's one of those songs that I could just keep listening to.
Quite so. I was really digging the sax.
Right?
Like it just like is in your face as soon as the song starts.
I really like I like everything about the song, but I love just the playfulness of it.
Well, it is Diddy Kong Racing. It's got to be playful.
We've been enjoying this game's music, and let me just tell you, I love the whole soundtrack. I love that.
It's the callback. It's the saxophone calling out for the trumpets.
Yeah, they're best friends. And meanwhile, this right here. And it comes back with that. Oh, that's such a fun song. It's just the Diddy Kong Racing whole soundtrack just brings a smile to my face. Like, it's just delightful to listen to.
I think Diddy Kong needs to break out the wheels one more time for a game.
I would love a remake or like a new game, because it's so underrated. Like, that's why I want to keep playing these songs, so people can hear how good the soundtrack is.
That's true, because I mean, if you think of like a Nintendo racing game, I mean, everyone's gonna immediately go, "Oh, Mario Kart." They're like, yeah, but you know, Diddy Kong Racing.
But Diddy Kong Racing was really good though. I played through this recently, and it just reminded me of how good the music was. Because I was like, I haven't played Diddy Kong Racing in a while. Let's play through this. I can do the whole story in a couple hours. And I was just like, man, this game has really good music when I was replaying it. I was like, I gotta share how groovy some of these tunes are. I love how it does give you that, like, kind of like that Islander,
With this part right here.
yeah. And the I could totally get, like, not so much like the, you know, rough and tumble pirates, but I get, like, the whole Jolly Roger kind of pirate from this song.
Yes.
I could hear, like, some happy-go-lucky pirate shanties to this jam. It's such a delightful tune.
See, what you do is you take this, you find any movie where there's like, you know, some sort of boat race, and you just immediately play this song anytime that scene actually happens.
I was gonna say, layer this song over that, because that would be amazing. I would be delighted if someone would do that. Just... That's one that just, it absolutely brings a smile to my face. The whole game, really, but that song in particular.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear some more Diddy Kong Racing tracks in future episodes.
Oh, absolutely. I've been loving every time I play one from it, so you know I'm gonna pick some more.
Oh, definitely. No doubt in my mind.
You get to follow that up, Matt.
Well, you know, I think, yeah, why not? I'm going to stick with some classic PlayStation games right here.
Okay.
So I played Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
But like, what's like one other classic PlayStation game that gives you that same nice nostalgia as that? So the game that I picked was Spyro 2 Ripto's Raid.
You know what? That totally makes sense. I never had Spyro 2, but I had the first Spyro.
I was strangely the opposite. Like I rented the first Spyro from video stores when they were a thing.
Yeah.
But I ended up buying and owning Spyro 2, and that was the first game in my entire gaming career that I 100%ed.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, I know, right? I was so proud of myself in my younger days. I was like, yeah, I did everything.
That PS1 Platinum.
Oh my God. No trophies. I just did it because I had to.
Well, of course. You gotta.
Yeah, and okay, God, I need to get the Spyro Reignited on my Switch because, good God, it looks so good.
It's one I definitely want to check out. The Switch has so many good games, like just so many.
It does. It's impossible. I mean, but anyway, let's get back to this. So this is the song I picked from Spyro 2 was the Aquaria Towers.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, this is like one of the levels where you're actually, because I mean, there's actually a couple different things I could have picked from it. So there's like one where there's like a racing mini game where you have to fly through hoops, and it takes place like on like a little island beat. And that's the one I was going to go for. And I was like, oh wait, no, there's actually a whole level that's like water based. Let me go pick that one.
That definitely makes sense. I've never played Spyro 2, so it's another game I'm not familiar with the music for, so I can't wait to hear this.
All right, so this is the Aquaria Towers from Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage by Stuart Copeland.
That one really really grew on me as I was going into it. I like that
Oh
one a whole
yeah,
lot.
and similar to Crash Bandicoot, it has like this watery like drum kind of sound to it for like the bass to start it off, and then yeah, like slowly the classic sitar the sitar sound starts to kick in.
Going back from a previous era, I really like that sitar sound.
That sitar sound,
I'm all
because
about it.
you can't have a Spyro song without.
That
You gotta have some sick string riffs.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, like at first I was like, oh, okay, this isn't a bad one. But after like a minute or so, I was like, I'm really into this song. This might be one of my favorites of the episode.
Yeah, it really does grow on you because like yeah, see, because it's like these little it's like metal pipes hitting something. Kind of sound.
This beginning reminds me a whole lot of Chrono Cross's Chronopolis theme. It's got a
Oh
very
yeah, you're right.
it's got a very similar like that kind of like running back and forth sound, if that makes sense. The
Yeah,
yeah, that little kind of weird trill thing it does.
yeah. And
It's
it has
very similar to the way the
that-
Chronopolis starts.
that uh, that echoey sound where it's
yeah,
where it comes out, you just like the
and it kind of runs back and forth between the two ears.
yeah.
It's a very interesting sound this song does. I like it. But yeah, when it gets to this part, I was like, oh, I'm jamming to this. I really like that motif.
I mean, if someone were to like be like, all right, we're gonna just play some songs, and like, I mean, I can tell that this is Spyro. I mean, I could walk into somewhere not knowing, like like I could be blindfolded and or anything, and it's just like as soon as I hear, I'm like, oh, who's playing Spyro? What's going down?
I will say I'm personally not overly familiar with Spyro music, but I'm super into this one. I can definitely say that much.
I'm gonna go on a deeper delve and try to bring a little bit more Spyro to the mix every once in a while when I can.
I'm really into it, so I can't wait for you to play more. As I said, I never got to play Ripto's Rage, so this is a track I've never heard before, and I'm into it. I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
this is the one I'm gonna be humming later tonight.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a really good one. this part is just like you're like, whoa, where'd this come from? And you still hear it. You still hear the strings in the background.
Thank you for this one, Matt. Genuinely, this is probably my favorite of the episode. I was really enjoying that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, I think I mean there's been a lot of Spyro games that came out, and I'm actually on a hunt because there was like a small, I think it was like 3 games that came out on the PS2 where they were actually they were all connected a little bit more. Like Spyro looked a little older.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the titles of them were right now, but I'm on a hunt for those games because I never got to play them. The only PS2 Spyro game that I ever got to play was Enter the Dragon, and although I had fun with it, it wasn't as fun as the original or Ripto's Rage to me.
I think the only Spyro game I've actually played is the first one. It's unfortunate like a gap in my gaming knowledge, and this song has inspired me. I'm gonna have to go listen to some of the other soundtracks that I haven't heard because if the rest are as good as that song was, I must have missed a lot of good songs.
you did miss a lot of really good songs because Spyro's he's got some jams.
Matt, I've got three classic Nintendo genres, and I've got two songs to put them in. So I'm gonna leave this to you. Would you like to hear a Zelda song, a Kirby song, or a Mario song?
Knowing you, and whenever I think of you and a video game, it's Kirby. So I want Kirby.
All right, that works. I'm gonna play you a song from Kirby Superstar. It's gonna be "The Float Islands," composed by Jun Ishikawa. Kirby's another just a fun game and just overall fun soundtrack to listen to, much like Diddy Kong Racing. So let's get into it. This is "The Float Islands" from Kirby Superstar. There you go, Matt. So just some classic Kirby goodness.
Classic Kirby goodness. A short loop for the song.
Yeah, it's a very short little track, but it's a delightful. I mean, it's just a good old happy-go-lucky Kirby.
Good old happy go. Better get there quick. Do your things. Uh,
Oh yeah, you definitely
punch
kind
them
of. This song definitely makes you kind of feel rushed, doesn't it? But I like the gentle rhythm, the excluding like the background rush part.
Yeah, the background rush. But be honest, Gary. This is what you would run this is what you would be listening to on a treadmill, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fair.
Man, that guy over there, he's getting it.
He's going. But I like how there's a classic Kirby sound in the background, but in the front there's that like those long held notes that really like give you like this kind of almost underwater feel.
Yes. I like these little notes that.
Yeah.
That was some great little Kirby goodness right there. Thank you for that one.
Yeah, of course. So Matt, what are you thinking for your final track of the episode?
My final track for the episode, because me, and I got to. It's no comic song.
I expect no less.
Of course. Now, when I was almost at a loss for this, because I was just like, ooh, what water song can I play? I'm like, well, no, I've already played the Ryoshima Coast. I believe I've already played the Dragon Palace.
Yeah, as we get on in episodes, you're gonna be running out of songs from this game.
You think. Uh, and I'm like, and we've listened to uh, Orca's song in the travel episode, and I was just like, what can I do for water? And that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh, well, actually, I have two options. Well, actually, three. I had three options. One was an in-game area. Uh, One was a sunken ship that you have to adventure on.
Yeah.
But what I decided to go for was neither of those.
Okay, which one did you
And
decide on?
I actually decided to go for the theme song for the Inn of the Sparrow Clan, the Sasa Sanctuary.
Interesting. And what makes this water?
Well, what makes this a water song is it's an inn that is famous for its hot spring, and it is the place where you unlock your water powers.
Interesting.
Because when you arrive there, you find that the hot springs have dried up for some reason. You're like, what's going on? So then you do a little mini game to basically dig for the water, and once that happens, you unlock um, the spirit of water, and that's when you're able to start to basically trail. You can make like a trail from like puddles of water to create like flowing water to like transport water from one area to another, or like douse fires. So with that in mind, I was just like, this still fits.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
very interesting. Let's hear what that sounds like.
Let's go for it. This is the Sasa Sanctuary, the Sparrow's Inn from Okami by Ray Kondo.
I was really enjoying those little yo
Yo, yo.
yo.
But this is a fun little part of the game because, like I said, the people that are in charge of the inn are known as the Sparrow Clan. So they're basically just like human-sized sparrows.
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, walking around little kimonos, and then so there's the boss who is in charge of the place. And when you first find it, you're denied entry because his daughter is missing. So side quest later, you come back, and then that's when you find out, oh well, our spring's entirely dried up.
A
You got
classic
one
story.
dude, yeah, you got one dude trying to do a little dance to appease the gods to bring back the water.
Well, yeah, there would have to be.
But what I really like about it is that of all the songs that we played right now for the water theme, this is one that you would definitely be like, well, this one is definitely the one that is the most off the wall for the theme.
I mean, with your explanation though, I could definitely hear it, and even you can even kind of hear a few little water motifs in there.
Yeah.
Every time that I get a little chuckle. Yo.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a nice little place, and it's actually a very major point location in the game, because not only is it an area where you get your water abilities, but it is also needed for another side quest later in the game.
Okay. I mean, I could
Actually,
definitely, by the sound of it, it sounds like
two other side quests. My mistake.
Oh, okay. And I
Yeah,
imagine water
you go back
powers are
to-
important.
The water powers are actually very important. So it's when you first get them, there's like two things you can do with them. Like I said, you can either pinpoint from start at the water and drag it and create like a trail, or you can go do like a vertical line up, and it will create like a water spout that you can jump onto, and that'll reveal hidden areas that you couldn't have gotten to previously.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I'm sure that's used often.
It's used quite often.
It's delightful. I keep chuckling every time, like, one of those weird yo's or the... just anytime the little silly parts happen in the song.
Oh, oh yo.
That's all I can say is I'm just enjoying it. It's silly and playful.
Yeah, but you actually do the mini game. The mini game to get the water back for the hot spring is you actually do that a couple different times throughout the game, for different reasons, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a fun little mini game because it's like you're timed, and you basically have to try to guide either. Typically, it's an elderly man who's like, oh well, I have this special ability where I can sense where water is, or I can sense treasure in my knees.
Yeah, I mean, he's got dowsing rods, except the rods are his knees.
Yeah, he's like, take me down into this pit, and we're gonna go digging for treasure.
I do believe I've seen you, because I've watched you play this whole game, and I remember the water power is used quite often, and I remember that digging game. Well, Matt, thank you for this delightful, interesting take on water, and another delightful song from Okami.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
You're taking us on the journey and telling the story of this game as we go through, and I've been enjoying each part.
You're quite welcome. There's still many more songs
Of
that
course.
I can use.
So Matt, as we're winding down, the episode has to end eventually.
Sadly, it does. But I mean, it just leaves people to look forward to our next installment.
Yes, we'll be leaving the water, and our next destination in our game is we're climbing a mountain. What kind of mountain? Is it snowy? Is it volcanic? Is it just rocky? Who knows? We'll see next episode. But as we do, we want to tell everyone thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed this, tumultuous journey through the water, down in the depths, up on top. Hope you didn't get too much water splashed on you this episode, and I hope you managed to stay dry and enjoy these tracks.
Oh yeah, Thanks for listening to two goofs who just like video games and their music, and wanting and us wanting to share that music with people who may not have heard them.
Yeah, I mean, if you know any other goofs or non-goofs or just regular people who like video game music, definitely share it to them. Word of mouth is our best advertiser, and if you tell your friend that you've got these guys, they play some great music, we'd really appreciate it.
Yes. Always, word of mouth is the best way to spread any sort of audible media.
And definitely tell us what your favorite track of the episode was, and if there's water songs that I'm sure you like that we didn't play because there's hundreds upon thousands. Tell us what one you would have liked to hear, and you'll maybe hear it on our next water episode.
That's true. So with that, Derek, you have the final song of the night.
I do. I just wanted to give a shout out to ones that I didn't get to play. One in particular I was gonna play, but we played a lot of kind of dreary and dark ones. Was a song from Soul Blazer. I was gonna play the Seabed of St. Ellis. Soul Blazer has got a really interesting soundtrack, and I'm sure we'll hear it from that eventually. But
definitely.
I also had a song or two from Sonic Adventure 2. I was gonna play the Dry Lagoon, which is a Rouge stage.
Oh.
But I wanted to close it out with something fun, something that a lot of people, may have recognized and maybe have some bright and happy feelings for. But I'm stuck between two, Matt, and I'm going to leave the decision to you again.
All right.
I've got the Mario Sunshine Sea and Sky song, and I've got the Wind Waker Ocean theme. Which would you rather hear as we close it out?
Well, Derek, seeing as how we're setting sail off to our next destination, let's go for the Wind Waker Ocean.
And that certainly fits. We'll get on the boat. We'll hop on this boat. This King of Red Lions and Koji Kondo, the director or the composer of the song, will whisk us away on this ocean from Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda. Thanks for listening, everybody.